Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Stoic Recovery podcast with Ashley. 31st of January. Philosophy as a medicine for the soul. Don't return to philosophy as a taskmaster, but as patients seek out relief in a treatment of sore eyes, or a dressing for a burn, or from an ointment. Regarding it this way, you'll obey reason without putting it on display, and rest easy in its care. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations 5.9. It's the last day of the control and perception today, and today the subject is how philosophy should be used in a regimented fashion and on a consistent daily regimented way, rather than just go into it when we're full of busyness and full of chasing, trying to get things and satisfying our ego. And its philosophy is keeping us in control, keeping us aware of what's important. Because as the book says, it's very easy to go down a path of creating and working busy and doing loads of stuff and doing things and this and that, and thinking that keeping busy is doing things is actually getting you closer to who you want to be. So, and you might start making money, you might start getting followers, and you might start getting clients, you might be getting the body that you always felt you wanted, and you lose track of actually what's important. We can get sort of maybe arrogant, we can get sort of blasé. We can get blasé, arrogant, dismissive, lose touch. Try to think of the words: lose touch, arrogance. So it's always, for me, it's, as Marcus says, it's using philosophy as a medicine, taking it twice a day for the rest of your life. And for me, it just gives me that perspective on things when I've had a day of trying to get approval and validation, and when I've been in sort of an emotional state about something outside of me and something that I'm not in control of. When I sort of sit down and read these passages, it sort of settles me down. It brings me it sort of grounds me into actually what's important, which is just to be a good person, just to be kind, honest, courageous, self-controlled, self-respected person. And they're the virtues. And get out of the way of God's work. And that's how I feel. It's like staying clear of fortune and what the externals is going to give to you. It's clearing the path of that, and not thinking that you staying away from thinking that you sort of influence or control or whatever comes into you. And the word influencer is used. and sort of influence and manipulation, and these words are used, especially in social media and the news media, and you have very little control of what happens actually outside of you, if any. The only thing we control, as I've been saying in previous 30 over previous videos this month, is your actions, your emotions, how you respond, your values, who you are as a person, your behaviours. That's what you control. That's the only thing in your remit. Everything else is God's work. And yes, we can try and force and push and keep busy and try, and yeah, we can do that. We can go down that route, and yeah, you might get some perceived success, but at some point you're going to lose track. At some point you're going to come back to philosophy. It always does. It always ends up coming back to philosophy, because the route of pushing, forcing, praying, wanting things, it's just like, you see it, you look at all these shiny things, and you look at what other people have got, and you sort of pursue that vision of wanting what other people want, and rather than just being that person, just being in the now and the present, sort of looking in a distant future, pursuing things outside of you, fame, fortune, status, relationships, money, whatever it may be that you're chasing. Your ego, the child inside of you, however you want to term it, will tell you that you do control this, and you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to keep busy, you need to keep distracting yourself, you need to keep satisfying me, because I'm the boss, and you do as I say. That's the ego there. But it's paying attention to that. It's accepting that for me, and just staying away from being busy, and staying away from keeping in philosophy, and being guided by philosophy, being guided by your values, and just really pay attention to this present moment, this nowness, this your breaths, all the stuff that's happening now when you're watching this video. Now, always come back to now, because you are free, even though you may not realise you're in the freedom you are. Even though your ego and your friends, your politicians, whatever, will tell you that freedom is outside of you. You need to do things, you need to get things, you need to buy things to feel a certain way, to get validation, to get attention. You need to get likes, you need to get loves, you need strategies, you need to know how to. You should do this, you should eat that, and yeah, all these things will take you down a path of trying to manipulate you to try and go down this path. But it's constantly taking your medicine, taking your philosophy as a medicine. The Stoics, that's what the Stoics did. They stayed in touch with what they control, what they didn't control, and they knew that philosophy was always there. Whatever happened, whatever situation happened, whether they got sick, or whether they lost some money, or lost a relationship, or things didn't go away as planned, they could always go back. They could always confide in this philosophy, in their reflections, morning rituals, their evening rituals, and keep a calm mind and keep in touch with, as I said, what's most important. Is it more important to get money? Do you believe it's more important to get money, relationships, status? Do you think it's important to accomplish things and achieve things? That's door number one. Or number two is keeping in touch with your values, not having anything, accepting that you are self-sufficient without all these things. You are free without all these things. You can be grateful. You can be grateful for who you are. You can be grateful for this present moment, the fact that you're actually breathing, and actually millions of processes are going on right this very second without your attention. And so that's philosophy. That's a remedy. That's the ointment. So, yeah, if you feel reflect on your life, and if you are being a taskmaster, if you're actually get a definition of it being a taskmaster, it's someone gets people to do things. Yeah. Let's read it now. Taskmaster, a person who imposes a harsh or onerous workload on someone. A person who imposes a harsh or onerous workload on someone. And yeah, you can put it on yourself. You can be a taskmaster to yourself. You can be a taskmaster to other people. But the true work is in yourself, because that's the only thing we control. You can put all the things, all your tasks and all your work in things you don't control, but soon enough, you're going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. You're going to get injured. You're going to get sick. True freedom is inside. All the true gifts are inside. Abundance. If you're wanting things outside of you, if you're wanting money, relationships, accomplishments, status, get ready for a rough ride. And trying to get these things, trying to get approval, trying to get other people control that. Just letting go. Stay out of the way. Leave it to the gods. Focus on the present. Stick with philosophy. Stick with wisdom. Meditate. Meditate often. Reflect often. Trust it. Trust yourself. Trust the gods. Trust the gods. They created the whole universe. It's all changing. They created the rivers. They created the lakes. They created countries. Created mountains. They created the sun, the earth, the moon, Mars. They created Manchester. They created Blackpool. They created USA. They created Australia. Created all these. The gods created all these things. So it's asking ourselves, like, why do we not trust them? Why do we not just let go and leave it to them and love the present moment. It's all in the now. So that's my reflections for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me this month, the 31st of January. And yeah, take your medicine today.